Kia Bia, where you at? Where you at? Kia Bia,
That's me.
Kia Bia,
That's me.
Kia Bia.
Yeah, that's me. What's up, Kia Bia Gang, and welcome to Zakia Chanel Podcast. This isn't just a regular podcast. It's a place where we can let down our guards and be our authentic selves. So let's talk about it. The real, the tough, and the funny conversations. At the end of each episode, I want you to walk away feeling better than you did at the start. All right, enough of me talking. Breathe in, breathe out. Now let's get into the episode. All right, y'all, we are back for part 2. As y'all know, part 1 was like too good. We couldn't just leave y'all hanging. Y'all trying to figure out what we talking about. So we had to come back for part 2. I hope that y'all enjoyed this episode. And again, just make sure that you tell your friends about us and enjoy the episode that's coming your way. We're finishing our conversation. So we was just talking about, how do you just continue to go? Like, where did you learn it from? How did you even come up with understanding to just continue to push through?
One thing that I always kept in the back of my mind was my imagination, my dreams, and like what I really wanted for my life.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how. I didn't have nobody. First off, I like to tell people all the time, my first dream was being a millionaire. And thank God for the internet. A lot of people say that the internet was made to hurt us and keep track of us. I think the internet was actually made to elevate us, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And what kept me going was having different resources that I can actually go to and look at. So whenever I feel down, I was always a person that would go to different videos that was related to how I feel, if that made sense. Mm-hmm. So if I was feeling down and depressed, I would go to different videos like, why am I feeling depressed? What will make me feel this way? To the point where I literally came across videos of motivational people that was talking about not giving up, the reason why I would be depressed. But another reason that kept me going was, I'm not a mother yet, but I want children in the near future. And I feel like it's very selfish. And it would be very selfish of me to bring a child into this world or raise a child and not have something for them, or me not being in the mental state. And that's what keep me going. I look at my future. I literally look at everything, not just like business-wise, but what can I leave in the next legacy? Because the next legacy, just first I'm going to be an ancestor, and I want to be able to lead my children, also be able to be a mentally healer for my husband in the near future. What can I do now to prepare myself for those goals?
Yeah.
And I feel like seeing my mom as well. My mom was a person that never gave up no matter what. Like, my mom would go to work at a job that she did not like and sacrifice going to work, coming home, taking care of a kid, taking care of my father's mother. She was sick, not complaining about anything, kept going. You would think we were millionaires because my mama always kept the house together, bought different stuff. But she always said what kept her going was her kids, and knowing that she wanted her kids to have more than what she has. Fast forward now, thank God my mom and dad collectively have 18 grandkids. I don't know anyone with no children, by the way.
Yeah.
Have 18 grandkids. Now I'm looking at, okay, what can I leave my kids? Because eventually I want to have kids. Look at my nieces and nephews. Like, what can I do to be an inspiration to my nieces and nephews? Like, I have different things and people that I'm working so hard for. And I'm the baby out of 7 siblings. Mm-hmm. And I honestly feel like, too, looking at my brothers and sisters grow up and go through their own mistakes as well. Like, I learned a lot from them as well. Not only that, but I tell people, I'm not afraid to say it. So a lot of people get afraid to say this, but I know I have an anointing over my life. I know that I wasn't placed here for no reason. I've always been the type of person, my mom and dad would drop me off at church at the age of 12. They'd go back home, go to sleep, do whatever I had my own walk with God. And I knew that I have a purpose on this earth, no matter what I'm going through. And God, I do believe this, God would never give his hardest battles to his weakest soldiers. He's going to give his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. So despite of what I'm going through, I might feel weak at the moment, but every time I go through a challenge, I always overcome them. I don't know how I do. I know how it's God, but I also know that God gave me that strength that was within. And sometimes you have to go within to know, like, you have to overcome these negative thoughts. Sometimes a negative thought don't know it necessarily be your thought. It can be a thought from the enemy. You know what I'm saying? So, and sometimes we can be our own enemy, but you have to know that sometimes when we have saying negative things over our life is because of fear as well.
Yeah.
And fear is a made up concept. Fear is not real. Fear is you just making up things that could happen that hasn't really happened because the event never even happened in the first place. You just making things up. So sometimes on the other side of fear is everything you ever wanted in life. And that's what keeps me going. Like, you know what? I'm going through this right now, but it's not going to last always. So what can I do now that can keep me positive, that can keep me in a nice mindset? So now I can move forward and be able to go towards those goals. And I can honestly say through what I'm saying, I actually went through that. It was times I really wanted to give up. Like, you know what, this is pointless. Like, what am I doing this for? And then, this is why I tell people too, it's really important to write down your dreams, what you want, and why you're doing them.
That's true.
It took me to go through my book, and I actually got really emotional, and I seen what I wanted to do before I had my mom and dad name, 4 names, my brother and sisters, my nieces and nephews, what I wanted my marriage to look like, what I want my children to be, what I wanted to do for not just women, but just people in general. What can I do for the Black community? Because that's what I'm really working for. I just feel like a lot of us are in poverty. And I know, God is a rich God. God wouldn't create us for us to just be in poverty all the time as well.
Yeah.
And I know that my life is not just for me. My life is for other people as well. Sometimes we think our life is for us. You see all these billionaires and millionaires keeping all their money to themselves. Help somebody. You never know what you can do. I'm not saying give all your money away. No, but you just never know how much of an inspiration and a blessing that you can be in other people's life. And that's what I'm getting out of it. Jesus sacrificed. You hear the story all the time. Jesus sacrificed himself for us. Why can't we sacrifice some of the things that we're doing to help somebody else get up? Sometimes you have to understand that everybody struggled. It took me to struggle for me to actually realize, like, this don't feel good. And I know this might be somebody else that's in the same spot as well. What can I do to use my situation? What did I learn out of my situation that I can help somebody else have a better outcome out of? But I tell people this too, and I tell myself this more than anything else. I can't keep giving to people and not giving to myself.
Yeah, that's real.
So I give to myself first. I pour into myself first. I give time to I do things that make me happy. Like, you would be surprised. I go down, I don't know if anybody in Detroit, but I go down to Belle Isle and I feed birds. That I be in nature. I get in tune with nature. But a lot of people don't know this too. Mother Nature is alive. So I spend my time in nature where I'm by myself. I don't have my phone, and I call it downloads. I get downloads of things, of different visions, what I should do. It was today I was coming across a homeless guy, and I'm like, dang, like, I didn't have any money, and something told me to just check my wallet anyways. I checked in my wallet. I'm like, let me just get this man, because I just never know how much of a blessing I can be.
And what they
really going through. And I give people compliments. I'm a DoorDasher as well. So the other day I was doing DoorDash, and I just seen a girl. It's a lot of times you see a lot of girls just being jealousy. You see a pretty girl, you're the gentleman, you don't say nothing. I just told her, like, you pretty. You look really pretty today. You look really cute. And she was, like, happy that I said that to her. Sometimes, first off, love is what makes the world go around. If you have so much hatred, it's going to be depressing. You have to spread love. But a lot of times, a lot of people will spread hatred because they have self-hate within themselves.
Yeah.
I love myself. I have to learn to love myself. I have to learn to love everything about me. Like, my natural beauty. The way I am. Just like what I'm pouring into myself. Like, I love myself enough to know that I can't listen to certain stuff. I love myself enough to know that I can't hang out with certain people. I love myself enough to know that, hey, I can't be in a club partying because that's just not me. That's not who I am. Like, I try to keep myself safe, my soul safe. I feel like I've came so far and healed from so much that I can't go back to that. All I can do is move forward. And I don't tell people, I don't feel like I'm getting older. I feel like I'm getting newer because as the days go on, I get new information.
Yeah, wiser each and every day with age. And it was like, girl, woo, so much you touched. Oh my gosh. Okay, so why is the first thing that's in my mind? So, like, even when you were just talking about, like, love, it was so crazy because you don't understand the people in your life, like, what they're, not even, like, what they're there for.
Yeah.
But just sometimes, like, I think that we just rush through life and we don't take the time to, like, really just sit there and be present in a moment. And so, like, today, even at work, like, I was like, okay, I'm going to be really present in a moment. And I work with this lady, and I'm helping her out in the classes, and she's talking about peace today. And she was just like,
can I tell y'all a secret to the kids? And they like, oh yeah, I love secrets. And she's like, the saddest people in the world is because they're selfish. And it was like, that's so real. Like, the saddest people in the world are very selfish.
Yeah.
And it could be to, it's like a sadness that you might not even physically see on somebody. It could be a sad heart. That person is sad in their heart. But it's just like what you said, like, just spreading love in any type of way that you can. It don't matter what you're doing. Like, just sharing the love, showing the love. Like, even yesterday, like, when you was talking about homeless and everything, my mom and I, we had Little Caesars, and she's like, oh, you know, it's like it was a homeless person. So she like, oh man, or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'm used to it, because, you know, so there are a lot at the gas station or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, you know, you used to it, whatever, like that. So we order our pizza, we wait, and she just like, Kia, it is just something on my heart. Just keep telling me to buy this guy some pizza. I don't know what it is, but something is on my heart. I'm like, go ahead, mama, just buy it. So she bought it, whatever. She's like, it's just something about him just seems so real. And she bought him pizza, bought him something to drink. And when I tell you, I've never in my life seen a homeless person do this in front of somebody. He literally was like, thank you. Came into the Little Caesars thing, sat down, got his food together, opened up his drink, started drinking his juice, started eating. I'm like,
he really was hungry.
He was truly hungry, and God spoke to her. But it be you be having to understand, like, if you don't have that discernment inside of you, you just don't know.
Discernment is so real.
It's so real. If you don't know, it's like she could have missed her discernment of God telling her to do that, and that was something for him. And for her, like, it was something that she learned in that. I don't know what that is, but that's something between her and God that he, like, you know, you're more than what you just thought that you were. And it's a lot. But when we were talking about just, you know, where you even started from and everything with, like, just not giving up, and you was talking about, like, where you came from and everything. And I was just sitting here, I'm like, yeah, because I was like, I don't know how, like, I don't know how I started to understand, like, how I never gave up, or why I have that mentality of a drive. But I was like, I think it's my parents, because they both work hard, not just working, like, for a company, for a business, but, like, they work hard for their family. Like, you see the hard work that they put into us, like, to all their children. And I was like, and it's also, I think, like, I live by sports, because I tell you, like, sports taught me everything.
Discipline.
And I'm like, they literally taught me not to give up, because, like, it didn't matter if I was the starter or the one sitting on the bench for that game. It was like, it's something about you. If you want something, you gonna continue. Because if you don't, then that means you settling for, like, where you're at, and you okay with where you at.
I always tell people this too. A lot of people will give up before they even try.
Before you try.
And a lot of times we give up because we are afraid to face fear.
Yeah.
But you got to understand, on the other side of fear is everything that you could have even imagined. You know, like, it's another thing that Steve Harvey had said. A lot of times, you know, we are set at the edge of a cliff and won't even jump. You know, we have a parachute on and everything, but won't even jump because we're afraid of what may happen when we get to the bottom. But if you just jump, you just never know where you may land, you know. And I like to use that as well. Like, I just jumped. Same thing with a bird. I'm actually going to use that better as an example. But when a mama bird finally kicked that bird out, that bird going to either drop or it's going to fly.
Fly somewhere.
And most 9 times out of 10, that bird is going to soar. So we have to understand that sometimes you just have to take that chance. You just got to take that leap. You just never know what life is going to lead you. Like, I tell people this all the time. I have a vision. I've always had this vision for a long time to move out of state. And it's like, so it's to the point where God is not letting me rest until I move. So now I know I have to move in some way and form. I have to figure out a way to get there. Not saying like, oh, you want me to, I gotta go there. Why? Like, I don't know how to get there. No, I'm not gonna sit there and make an excuse of why I can't go there. What can you do to prepare yourself to go there? Make a plan. Sometimes your plans don't go as planned.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be honest. Sometimes our plans don't go as planned. But as long as you have a why. If you just stick with your why do you want to do it? And I tell people that I recommend everybody to do this. Please write your why down. You write your why down, you wanna have something to look back to. You wanna look at your why, it's gonna give you that extra drive. It's to the point where I know my why. I don't have to look at my paper, but I know my why. And it's like,
it's to the point where I can't rest. I dream about it. I think about it when I wake up. Whenever I'm in a bad situation, I always look at it like, dang, like, instead of like looking at all the time looking at the bad, like, dang, I'm not where I want to be, but I know where I want to be is right around the corner. I know it. It's like I feel it. I can't explain it.
But you know it's right there.
And
I was going to ask you that because, you know, like, I think that that's something that I am in the process of doing or understanding right now. But you know how you are in a position where you see what is coming and you know your why. So you know that, okay, what I see coming is connected to my why. Yes. And obviously if God keeps giving me this vision over and over again.
It gotta be for me.
Exactly. But look, what happens in that mid time from getting to that till now of you still striving for it? When you feel like it may take, it's taking longer than what you what you thought it was, because I feel like I don't hear a lot of people talk about it, but they don't talk about that in between time, like I knew God said this was for me, but also if it's for me, God, why is it taking so long? You know, like
a lot of times we be holding ourselves back, and that's a big one. I had to learn that the hard way. We be sitting there complaining like, why does it take us so long? It got to be something that you're doing that's holding yourself back. And a lot of people don't want to face that reality too. But a lot of times we could be hindering ourselves. But a lot of times too, we could be, your blessing is not for everybody. Okay? And a lot of times we want to take everybody with us on this journey. Okay? In order, I don't know where this is coming from. It just came out of nowhere. Whoever this is for is I have to say it. In order for you to achieve, sometimes we can be holding ourselves back because it's negative energy within our group, our circle. Whatever you're surrounding yourself with is holding you back from what you. It could be yourself. You could be having a negative mindset. It could be your family,
friends, your job.
It could a spouse. I would be good. Spouse. Yeah. It can be anybody. It can be literally somebody that's literally hindering you from going on the other side because they're not meant to sit at that table that God prepared for you. The table that God prepared for you, He prepared it for you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we don't want to let go because we are afraid of change.
That's good. That's good.
We don't want to let go because we are afraid of. But you got to understand, sometimes this minor, I put it like this. I wish we had one of them big birthday glasses I could show you. Sometimes we'd be afraid to let go of this for a bigger wine glass that God has on the other side of that door.
Because you don't even know how you're going to be able to, like, handle that bigger thing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know.
It just, okay, I put it like this, too, because I know some people out here that fast. Fasting is a great way to also get your mind right.
Yeah.
And that's, remember, I was telling you I was eating more of a vegan diet lately. Today I had some chicken, I'll be completely honest. But I don't eat as bad as I used to. And I feel like with me, just changing slightly things. Fasting. I do intermittent fasting now. I don't eat past a certain time. I eat within an 8-hour frame. But now I'm only eating once a day. And I'm feeling lighter. I just ate 2 hours ago. I'm not eating nothing for the rest of the night. So when I go to sleep, I dream better. A lot of people don't understand that too. When you go to sleep on a full stomach, you hold everything back. So you're not really focused because everything is it's all foggy. But you have to understand, like, sometimes you're going deep in within yourself. Yourself going to tell you what you need to let go.
Yeah.
That's why meditation is really good. I would recommend everybody to meditate. Meditation is really good because it's just yourself pretty much training or recircling your thoughts, focusing on your thoughts. And your thoughts, let's put it like this. The flesh may want something, but the soul going to always tell you the truth.
The flesh is the devil.
The flesh is the devil, but that mind, that soul, is what connects you to God. And God, that higher source, your soul, your higher source is going to always tell you what you need to let go. And with that being said, like, I had to learn the hard way. Sometimes you have to let certain things go. We trying to hold on to materialistic stuff, people that's not good for us. It can be your own family member. I know people that had to cut off I'm grateful to have my mom and daddy, but I know people that had to cut off their mom and dad because they were toxic energy. It could be your brother or sister that has toxic energy. It could be the work environment, that we can be in a real bad work environment and God is telling you to let that job go, but you're not letting that job go because you're thinking like, I got bills to pay for, God. sometimes if you let that job go, God will provide everything you need. You just have to let go.
And that's when, like what we were saying before, like that's when faith come back in.
And faith is literally it's you trusting in yourself.
Yeah. And even like with the whole fasting too, like when you was talking about like your different fasting, I was just watching a sermon not too long ago, and it was talking about how people have the wrong mindset when they go into fasting. Sometimes people go into fasting thinking that I only supposed to eat right or whatever, or I'm only supposed to not eat snacks, or I'm only supposed to not drink or smoke. And then you at the end of your fasting, you wondering why you still in the same places, because you basically just went on a diet, or you basically just went on your own little like thinking you doing the fasting, but really like that time is supposed to be spent with God. The time that you're not drinking, you're not smoking, you're not eating, it's the time that you're really supposed to be doing that. And most times that's why people say don't eat after a certain time, because this is the time with God right before you go to sleep, because God has watch hours for you while you sleep. And so if you are eating incorrectly or over the time, then you missing your watch time. Yes. And you missing what God's supposed to give you for your next day.
And it ties back to being by yourself sometimes. A lot of times you can't focus on God or focus on yourself when you have involved around other people. I literally will take a time. Like I do this all the time too. But before I go home, because I live with people. Before I go home, if I want to just spend some time with myself, my car to me is my holy place. I bless my car. I do. Yes. I say different information. I talk over and speak highly over my car now. But when I'm in my car, I would just drive around. I would listen to different, I call them Hertz music. It's like vibrational music. I listen to that in the car. I listen to my gospel music in the car. I just talking to God is like talking to yourself. Pouring into yourself. Telling yourself what you want in life. A lot of times we be praying for the wrong stuff. We praying for stuff that God already know we need. Okay,
exactly.
We need to start praying for stuff that we don't even think that we're gonna get.
Yeah, can barely imagine that you're gonna receive that.
And I actually switch my prayers up. I don't just pray for materialistic things. I do not. I pray for a mental state, the true meaning of life. That's one of my prayers that I'm gonna continue to pray about. What's the true meaning of life? What's my purpose? My purpose, I'm not going to say it constantly changes, but it might be one thing I might think that's my purpose, but God may show me like, hey, you might get, this is another purpose you might need. I need you to do this assignment too. Like, we have to understand whenever we constantly growing, we never supposed to be the same. And I feel like a lot of times when people are in like toxic relationships or toxic family ships too, we are so focused on other people's opinion. You can't focus on other people's opinion or what other people vision for your life, because what they vision for your life is not for your life, it's for their life. A lot of times, and I don't tell people my dreams somewhere. I don't tell people what I'm going to do, what I'm about to do.
A lot of stuff
you can't, because a lot of times a person is going to tell you why you shouldn't do it based on the fears or the things that they haven't done for themselves. Like, for instance, I had somebody the other day that was just telling me how they wanted to start something to help cancer patients and stuff like that. And the first thing the person had told them, like, well, you got to be careful with that, because, they kill off people. And I had told that person, like, the only reason I told you that is because that's their fear, but that wasn't their vision. God gave you that vision. It was for you.
And it's like somebody else obviously is not going to understand what God gave. God did not go.
Yes, he didn't give it to them.
I'm about to talk to Tony, but I'm going to talk to Kia as well. Like, if he did that, he's going to let her know that I got somebody else that's coming for you. And that's confirmation. That's different than somebody just trying to reel you on to something totally different than what you already had a vision for, what God already told you.
You cannot give up. I feel like giving up is like you just giving up on not just God, but like your higher self, what your soul wants. Your soul knows what it wants. Your imagination is just literally your soul already showing you what is already yours. And you cannot give up on yourself, because the moment you give up on yourself, you leave doors for, I call it demonic energy, because at that point you're going to be depressed. I feel like depression is a demonic energy, because all depression is you focusing on things, number one, you can't change. A lot of times we are focused on things that we can't change. We're focusing on things that's not spiritually making us happy. We need to start focused on things like, for me, what's helped me is to think about my future. I say this all the time. I'm 25 years old. I'm not married. I don't have any children. I'm thinking about everything. Honestly, I'm preparing to die. And I know that sounds crazy. I don't want people to be like, what?
All right. Before we continue our conversation, make sure to follow me on all of my personal social media accounts. to stay updated on what I am doing. You can follow me on Instagram at _KiaZ, _KIAAZ. You can follow me on Facebook at Kia Brewer. You can follow me on Snapchat at FabulousKia_4. Or you can follow me on TikTok as Zakia Brewer. But make sure that you follow our podcast page as well on Instagram as Zakia Chanel Podcast. Okay, so where do we leave off at?
What I mean by I'm preparing myself to die, I'm preparing myself to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
I'm preparing myself. What can I do in my life right now that can be an inspiration for other people? We hear stories all the time of people that's deceased now that stories are still living on. So what can I do now that I know that my life can be an inspiration to our generation, not just our generation, but generations to come, my next generation. So I know my kids can leave a legacy for the next generation. Our goal on earth is to always leave something behind.
Yeah, and like I think a lot of people don't even think about it as well, that like what keeps me just moving is not just my future, but not just the legacy either, because your legacy could I think people think of the legacy as only just connected to like their bloodline, but like your legacy is who God connected you with. Like who has passed away has already left a legacy within me to continue with what my purpose is. But when I'm gone, my legacy is going into somebody else, whether that's a family member, my child, or whoever that is. They have to continue with whatever God has for them to go ahead and tell the world, like, we're spreading God's word. And so we have to leave a legacy. It only makes sense, but it's like, that's what keeps me moving, is knowing that, like, my life is not my own.
Yes.
Like, it's not for me. It's for whatever God says. And then also, it's like, if I give up or if I'm settling for where I am at right now, I'm damaging somebody else. I don't know who that person is that I'm damaging or hurting, but I know that I may be hurting somebody else because I'm giving up. And I know in order for me to learn this lesson, or for me to get to where I gotta go, and for them to get to where they gotta go, I gotta go through there.
You gotta keep going, but you can't. That's one thing you cannot do. You gotta keep pushing. A lot of people, I'm gonna keep saying fear. A lot of people, it's fear, and a lot of times it's fear. You get fear on social media now.
Yeah.
A lot of fear. Every media. I can't even say social media. It's the news media, the social media. You got fear from co-workers that's low vibrational people that hasn't experienced nothing, that's going off of the trauma that they never healed from and then reflected on you. We have to keep pushing. What's another thing? I just kind of got off topic a little bit.
What?
I lost my train of thought. Yes. Oh, about legacy. Whew, this is a deep one too. I feel like a lot of times a person can. I'm gonna go back to that selfish thing. A lot of times a lot of people base what they want on life just for them. I want $1 million car. Why? Why do you want it? So I can look good in it. Like, that's not a good reason. Like, leave something like for somebody to have. Like, for instance, like I just came across another podcast yesterday I was listening to, and it was honestly talking about different celebrities that were millionaires that didn't leave nothing behind. And, like, they end up bringing up Whitney Houston. I'm like, well, Whitney Houston left something to her daughter, and I have to think about it, like, well, dang.
But, like, and okay, before you even continue, because, like, when you just brought up Whitney Houston, made me think of, I don't know if you heard of Twitch, the person who, like,
why
this
did
dancer?
Familiar? Yes.
So he just passed away off of suicide and everything. But, like, a lot of people think of, like, leaving something behind is just money, but it's like, money only lasts for so long.
Yes.
You know, it gotta be, what else did that person leave behind? And, you know, like, even with his story, like, nobody is going to understand why he left home, why he went to a hotel, why did he kill himself. Nobody's going to ever understand that, because it's something that obviously he did not want nobody to know.
That's
what
true,
he was dealing with. But at the end of the day, all we know is what he has left behind. Like, and he left his legacy. He left his wife and his children.
He left something so much more
for everybody else.
And that's what people got to understand too. Like, I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people do think that leaving a legacy is like money. No, it could be. Sometimes a legacy can be just you teaching the right teaching. You know what I'm saying? Preparing the next generation so they can prepare other people. You just never know, like, the people that God placed in your life for you to be an inspiration and an impact into. But I want to piggyback off of this too. A lot of times, a lot of people are afraid to pass away or don't want to talk about death is because they haven't prepared themselves to leave a legacy. So in a sense, they looking at how if they was to die today, what did you leave?
What did you leave? Yeah.
What did you do in this lifetime that impacted this world?
What did you accomplish?
Thank
what did
you.
you succeed in?
And a lot of times we have to understand, like, well, I don't want to die and not leave nothing. So what can I do that I can leave something? And that's what I say. It's not just for my children either. It is for other people, and specifically, it's for women, and particularly, it's for Black women. I'm sorry. I want to be able to. I feel like I see a lot of women that degrade ourselves. You know, it's a lot of music that show us in a sexualized way.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to show women that, especially Black women, we are very, 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 very strong. We are mentally strong, spiritually stronger. It's a lot of stuff. And I feel like if I can attack a group of women that are like me to become better, because first off, a child love their mama and daddy. But a child don't always love their mama more, okay? It's a connection with women. You know, it's that feminine energy. So I know for a fact if I can attack the women, I know that the women can, in a sense, help teach the men. Most women do teach men. Even though society taught us that men is supposed to be a leader and stuff like that, women are...
We all lead in different ways.
But I feel like women have a different impact when it comes to teaching. Like, I can't explain it.
They lead with love.
Yes.
And I feel like men lead with not structure, but...
A woman can teach a nation.
Like, understanding, like, this is that. Where women, we lead with love.
Yeah.
And they both is as powerful as the other.
They are. But that's why, and that brings me back to, that's why we need a balance in life.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot expect life to just go good. You cannot. You need the bad in order to get to the good. I like to use this example too. The devil, and God. If you take the D off of devil, you're going to get evil. You to put the extra O in God, you got good. Okay? We need the yin and yang. We need that connection. A lot of people don't know this too. A female has masculine and feminine energy, just like a male has feminine and masculine energy. But we have to know when to tap into that different energy. But one thing about a woman, like, a woman has a male has an ability to create, don't get me wrong, but a woman has a ability to create different things because of our womb. This is why we are called a woman. The real name is woman, not woman, but it's a woman. We have that ability to create not just life, but just different things within our, if I call them chakras, but that's another topic as well. But if you're not balanced in the inside, that's why a lot of times you see women pH is off, and sometimes people just think like it's just from other things. No, your pH can be off because your energy inside of your body could be off. It could be the type of food, and a lot of times our energy inside of our body is off because of the food that we're eating. But if we know that, hey, in order for you to have a mental space, you have to feed your body certain stuff. And that's why I say feeding your body is not just physical food. Feeding your body is what you hear, what you surround yourself by, what you visually see, the type of people that you're around every day. Like, all of that, you have to feed yourself and fill yourself and hydrate yourself constantly in order to be able to create.
Yeah, and that's even with, like, I know that's off topic, but, like, even, like, just when we are pregnant as women and everything, and, like, you know, how we feed ourselves, everything that we do. And it's like, you know, they be like, be careful what you say, or be careful how you feel, or, you know, make sure you're not stressed, make sure this and that, because you're carrying a baby. But also, because not just because you're carrying a baby, but that's like a life, but also you're already like preparing them for life before they even see what life is. And, you know, you talk about like the umbilical cord. And I think I was watching a sermon or something. They was just talking about, like, the umbilical cord and the importance of it. And they was talking about, like, you know, God in us is the umbilical cord. Like, he's connected to each of us. There's no way that he cannot disconnect from one of us. Like, we're all connected to God in different ways. And it's through the umbilical cord. And just, like, that's the same thing with a woman and their child. Like, the umbilical cord is a way for us to connect with each other. And it's a way for oxygen to, that's the way that the baby is still breathing in the stomach. So it's just like, you know, it's important to just connect and understand how life is given to you before you, like, on earth. And I think that helps us to understand of just, like, pushing through everything in life and just still, like, working through it or figuring out life. Because life is before we come into the world, as we're in the world, and after we leave the world.
Yeah.
Like, it's all different ways in life, different stages, but it all has a connection to not just you, but to somebody else.
Life is literally connected.
But no,
It brings me back to what you had said in the beginning, about us being connected.
Oh, yeah.
And it actually brings me back to what I said, but I'm going back to what you had said about us being connected. Energy cannot be destroyed. It only can be transferred. So a lot of times too, what I'm trying to say, like the energy that you carry, you just never know what you can impact. Like literally, like I feel like if everybody had the same mindset of like, let me just spread positivity, positive energy will go around. Like, or for instance, what's another one? The media. I'm gonna use the media. If the media start putting out more positivity, I feel like the world energy would be completely different. But the first thing the media want to do is put out depressing energy, and then you literally can feel that energy. This is why you can feel the negative energy really, really strong. You can be in your own household. You can probably feel your neighbor next door with the energy because of we all connected. And this is why it's so important too to also stop. This is me personally. I do not watch the news. I do not.
Yeah.
I don't watch it. I don't even like go on Facebook and like look at news feeds on Facebook or something, nothing like that, because I'm trying to keep myself in a positive mindset. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of the media stuff is depressing news, and I don't want to feed myself depressing news. I want to keep myself at a higher vibration at all times. And I'm able. This is why people are like, you always smile. Why do you smile? Like, why don't you smile? Like, it's to a point where people, when they see me smile, it's like a problem. It's like, well, you don't smile? Like, what are you talking about? Like, well, I had to today. I was at the drive-thru, and I was told that I was being a little hyper at the drive-thru, and I'm like, "Are y'all just so normal? Is it normal to go through a drive-thru and just be nasty and mean? Like,
because that's all people surround themselves with.
And I look at myself like, maybe if my energy is uplifting, I can possibly change somebody else's. And I've always been like that. But that's how I keep myself sane. But not only that, that's who I am. I feel like I've always been like that as a young person.
Yeah.
And a lot of times a person can be offended about your personality because your light could be shining brighter as well.
They're numb and they trying to figure out how they light can shine.
Thank you. A lot of time, a person can, I tell people this too, a jealous person actually really love you.
Oh, yeah.
A jealous person's only jealous.
Just trying to figure it out.
A jealous person really love you. Like, it's a lot of people like, oh, I got haters. No, they don't really hate you. They really love you. They just hate that whatever is in you is not in them. That's what a hater is. They just hating because whatever is in you, they can't understand, but they don't know that 9 times out of 10, as a jealous person is mad at what has already been in you from day one.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to learn that too. Like, I used to get bullied a lot as a kid. Like, why am I getting bullied? Like, what's up? Now I look back at the people that used to bully me. Girl, I'm not going to say I laugh, but I just be looking like, oh, wow. Like, okay, I should be bullying you, but that's not in my character.
Exactly. Like, oh, look how things have changed. Right.
So I look back now, like, a lot of times I even had a girl that used to bully me. This is so funny, too. She had hit me up on Facebook. This is a couple years ago. She wanted to do my hair. Like, girl, you used to call me all types of names in middle school, but I would never come to you.
Support you.
Yeah, she's like, you look so pretty. Like, this is the same person that used to call me ugly, but in a sense, I wasn't ugly. And I had to tell myself, too. My dad had to tell me, like, you're not ugly. You know, she only saying that because you are beautiful and she can't understand why you that way.
Or she's struggling with something inside of her.
And internally, and she was like, and in a sense, I was vulnerable too. I really only mess with a person that's really vulnerable. I was really vulnerable. But like I said, I'm so glad, I'm grateful that I went through what I went through, because without me going through those certain situations,
you wouldn't be where you are.
I am so stronger. I wish the person would try to bully me today. Mm-hmm. I might be sweet. I might talk about God, all that other stuff, but baby, I get down. I don't let people run over me no more. And that's something that we have to learn too. We have to set boundaries. Woo! That's another topic, but yeah.
But okay, so so the segment Run and Tell That. Like, what do you want to leave our listeners, our watchers with? Like, because I mean, we talked about a lot of gems that y'all can like go and live life with. Mm-hmm. But like, what's something that you would just want them to go run and tell?
Run and tell that, run and tell that, run and tell that, homeboy.
One thing I want to tell people, the purpose, my meaning of not giving up. You have to figure out what's making you want to give up. Okay, once you figure out what's making you want to give up, ask yourself, again, why do I want to continue what you want to continue? And after that, try to take that time to heal. Take some time to be alone. Take the time to write down your thoughts. Take some time to meditate. A lot of people don't feel like meditation is just boring because you sit down and you think about everything else. But that's the purpose of practice. Even when you exercise and work out in a gym, you can't go to the gym the first day and expect for you to look like you got a 6-pack the first day, because that's not how life works. You have to continue to go through it. So all I can say is don't give up. Practice doesn't make perfect. I don't believe in practice make perfect, but I do believe that practice make improvement. Mm-hmm. Improve yourself. Keep going. And I feel like even when you are success at what you think you may be successful, keep going, because it's still room to grow. It's room to expand. And you just never know if you change the way you pour love into yourself. You just never know who may pour love into you as well, and what love you can pour into yourself that you can pour to others. Yeah. So that's something I'm going to guys leave you guys with. Like, just work on healing. A lot of times that we want to give up because we're not healed. It's something that's holding us back in fear. Yeah. So get over that fear. Take some time to heal. Keep going after the dreams. Write down your dreams. That way you can look back and reflect on, hey, I wrote this down. Cross them off too as you achieve those goals. And I think that's an excitement too. When you start to look at your goals, you start to heal yourself, you start to look at like, dang, I didn't cross that off. Mm-hmm. I'm at my next goal. Keep a tablet, a book of your life. Yeah. I would recommend everybody start doing that too. Journal your life. Journal how you was feeling that day. That has helped me too on my healing journey as well. Writing down my emotions for the day. Write down your emotions for the day. You catch yourself being upset. Talk to yourself. What's making you upset? Because a lot of times we can be upset because we are mad or upset of things that we don't understand. So try to understand the situation before we get upset. Understand that we are literally the creators of our own universe. So what you create in your mind is going to project out. So try to, if it's something negative, try to change that thought into positive thoughts. And I'm telling you, you're going to go so much further than you ever imagined.
Yeah, I would say my run into that would be, first, if you feel like some type of frustration, like if you're frustrated that something's not going right, or if you hit that mark where you just feel like I can't go no more, I don't have no more energy, I say tap into that. Like, tap into that, because whatever that thing is what's really meant for you. And you have to tap into it so that you can get through it. But you gotta know, okay, like this is for me. So what are the steps and what can I do to even achieve it? Yeah. And keep going, and just watch out for the people around you. Like, stay protective of yourself through that process, because some things is only meant for you. And when it's time to let everybody else know, I promise you, you will know that right time when you can share it with the world, when you can share it with other people. But until then, like, you have to be in it on your own, because if it's frustrating you, the more you share with people, it may bring in negative energy. It may bring in all that negativity, which only may frustrate you even more. Yeah. So take that time to be with yourself and really tap into what's happening. And then just remember, like, only thing that I always tell myself is that somebody loves something inside of me. And I refuse to leave the world without leaving something for somebody else. Okay. So just keep going for that and always remember that. And I think that will continue to help you just push through it, strive for it, drive, go after it, no matter what. But yeah, so So yeah, this is episode 5. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm pretty sure y'all will see my bestie again sometime. But yeah, make sure that you comment, subscribe, leave a review, share it, let people know. And let's continue to just run them numbers up. And I will see y'all in the next episode. Bye. Bye. Hey, don't leave me hanging. Before you leave, make sure that you subscribe to Zakia Chanel Podcast. You can listen to my podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, and SoundCloud. Or you can go over to Zakia Chanel TV on YouTube to listen and watch the podcast. Looking for someone to host your event, or you want to learn how to start your own podcast, or you need organizing tips, I'm your girl. You can contact me via email. You can also reach out to me via email if you need any advice on anything at Zakia Chanel Podcast at gmail.com. Remember, it starts with you. Be blessed and take care of yourself.